You famously come back to these two statements all the time that I love. The world belongs to those who show up, and you get what you organize for. Um, when you first started in political life, a lot of the Somali elders threatened to shun you. They were rough on your father because they thought that you were going to overthrow who they had chosen to be the political leaders. Like there can't be more than one. Like it's the Highlander or something. There can only be one. And your response was to have one-to-ones with as many people as you possibly could, which is a really beautiful thing. Can you talk a little bit, please, about the difference between speaking out and activism and actual organizing, and what does it mean to the work to really be able to share space with human beings?
Yeah, I mean, I think, oftentimes we forget, how strong a human connection can be and how much we're able to change people if we're willing to make ourselves vulnerable in a space with them, right? My dad used to famously say that it's hard to hate up close, and I believe that it oftentimes is necessary for us to remember that those we hate, um, or those who hate us, know little about who we are and what we stand for, what our driving motivations are, what helps us get out of bed. And if we are, willing to humble ourselves and get in a conversation with them, we will realize that we probably have more in common than we expected. When I came to the United States, I was an immigrant kid who grew up in Africa, right? All black everything. And I came to the United States, and it was a very racialized place. It was the first time I was told I was black. It was the first time I was told I was Muslim, because I also grew up in an all Muslim country. So, nobody talked about my Muslim faith. Nobody talked about my race. There was no such thing as race in the country I was growing up in. And so it kind of was like an automatic indoctrination into a society where I was supposed to simultaneously assimilate, but also recognize that there are these divisions, and there was a group that I belonged to, and I had to figure out how to navigate my way within the other groups. And it was a confusing thing for me. And I realized that, as soon as I learned English, that I would have conversations with some of the other immigrant students in my school. I would have conversations with some of the white kids. I would have conversations with some of the Latino kids. And, we would start talking about our upbringings and what made us happy. And it was always, a particular food our parents made, or, the family gatherings, or like how silly our uncles or aunties might have danced, or the weird things they make us do. As a child, everybody hates taking naps. And so we would connect on all of the silly things we got punished for. And then it was easy, right, for us to realize that, like, we are just like each other. The fact that we come from different countries, the fact that we come from different backgrounds, the fact that we are of different races and of different faiths sort of melted into the background, because 95% of our conversations were about our shared commonalities and challenges growing up as kids with, overbearing parents or overbearing grandparents, or, annoying siblings. And so I think that's where I thrive as an organizer. And that's what I love about organizing, because it's easy for me to say, I don't know if Brother Ali would be on board for us to help, our local coffee shop unionize, because, he's got money and all of this stuff. But I might sit down with you and find out that, yeah, you maybe worked at a coffee shop as a young person, and this is something that you understand. And so before we have these conversations, we shouldn't judge where people are going to be. And that's, I think, why the 101s are important as you organize, because you get to connect with people, their stories, their backgrounds, their humanity, and then you all can figure out how to work together collectively.
And I would help unionize a coffee place, especially if we could get you off this Perkins coffee that you seem to like. I never feel sad for you throughout all the things you've been through, like reading your story, except for the fact that you're just drinking such bad coffee, and you come from where originates, and the best coffee in the world is in East Africa.
I'm just somebody who appreciates everything, so
okay,
I think that's what it is. I'm just not a snob for anything.
Okay, that's what's up. Speaking of
Especially anything that I can get abundance of, and that's the draw to the Perkins coffee, because it just keeps coming.
Yeah, and you said you were the chair breaker, like you was go in there and sit and hold court. Did you really think about renting out that Perkins after they closed and making it your campaign headquarters?
I did. Who told you this? This is coming from David.
You told on yourself in your book that you drink this horrible coffee so much that you...
Oh, good God.